There's some technical glitch which is happening. Okay. So just to give a brief introduction about me, I'm an imaging and styling consultant and a social media influencer too. I won around 8 crowns nationally and internationally, and I've been working as a technical writer with an MNC in Calcutta. And I've received the UNICEF Young Achiever Award in the year 2018 for my contributions into the glamour and into the ID field. So some snippets of the classes which I conduct in Calcutta itself, online and offline. So without further ado, let's get started with today's session. So what are we going to discuss today? So I'm going to share some grooming tips about how you what are the things that you should keep in mind to be a better groomed person, and how do you introduce yourself in a contest in front of the judges or when you're meeting someone. I'll also share some tips to create the speech for your final judges round or question answer round which you're going to have. And finally, as you all are heading towards the third most important, your ramp walk round, I'll be sharing certain tips about how you're going to pose for your ramp round. What are the poses that is expected in your pageant? Okay. So we speak about a well-groomed person. You know, when someone enters a room or you go to an event or you meet someone, you come back and say that, you know, that person was such a well-groomed person. You know, she was so well-dressed or he was so well-dressed. You remember that person. So what do we understand by a well-groomed person? 3 things we should keep in mind that a well-groomed person should have. So let me break it down. 3 things which you should keep in mind is you need to have great communication skill. That is, you need to be a well-spoken person. Second, you need to have a good appearance. Third, you need to have a good behavior. These 3 things together, when we combine, we become a better version of ourselves. We become a well-groomed person. So let me start with the first point. When we say that he or she is a well-spoken person, what do we mean to say by that? When we communicate to a person, the time given to us is very limited. We have stipulated time to, you know, create an impression in front of the others with whom we are conversing or we're into communication. So we need to think before we speak. We need to choose our words very carefully so that the other person with whom we are speaking, that person will have the right kind of impression. Okay. Second thing, which is very important in a good communication, is good diction. What do I mean to say by good diction? Is your pronunciation. Your pronunciation should be clear. Every letter should be, clear to your ears, and it should be syllable. We don't want a US or an UK accent. You know, sometimes we try to put in an accent when we go to a 5-star restaurant, or sometimes we meet foreigners, we try to put an accent. No, a proper English, a proper Indian accent is the best accent. So try to use that accent when you are communicating. Okay. Third thing, which is very important in a communication, is your controlled voice modulation. So what do we mean to say by that? For example, when you are preparing yourself for your speech and you have to speak about yourself. If I have to say, hi everybody, good evening judges, I am Adelina and I'm very happy to be a part of this phenomenal platform. So do you see, when I'm using the word happy and my emotions are being reflected in my eyes. Phenomenal, when I'm using this word, I'm putting emphasis on that word. So we need to use our voice modulation on the words where we want the judges or the other person to be focused on. Okay. Fourth thing, which is very important in the communication, is speed of your speech. Right? Your speed of the speech should be such that you shouldn't be going too fast or you shouldn't be going too slow. It should be, that's when I always say my contestants who are going for nationally, internationally, you write exactly the speech that you're going to speak, where you have the punctuations and the full stops. You need to stop there. That is where you will be able to identify the right speed of your speech. Okay. Fifth point, which is very, very important in a communication, is listening skill. They say, God has given us 2 ears and one mouth. Why? That is what is important. We need to listen more. If we are not apprehending what the other person is saying, we won't be a great communicator. So listen before you speak. Try to understand what the other person is actually telling you. Okay. And sometimes we feel that we are a great communicator when we go and speak to a person and we, the points that we had kept in our mind, I said, okay, fine, I'm a great communicator. I have, mentioned all the points that was there in my mind. No, a good communication is when your message is delivered to the another person, when he or she understands what you're trying to communicate. That is when communication is successful. Any questions so far regarding communication, regarding what do you mean to say by well spoken? All good? Okay, now coming to the second point of being a well-groomed person, good appearance, right? So when good appearance, we always remember if we have met a person, that person was, yes.
I'm sorry for interruption. Can you please repeat what is suitable inflection? An example.
The third one, suitable inflection. Okay, now control voice modulation, it is how do you change your tone? Okay, suppose there are two sentences which I am speaking. Hi everybody, I am Apurva, I am from Pune. This is a flat inflection and I'm very excited. You see the emotion changing. That's the tone which changes. That is what we call suitable inflection. Okay, clear, Purva? Okay. Now coming to good appearance. Good appearance, there are two things we need to keep in mind broadly. You need to be well dressed and you need to have good hygiene. Now, what do you mean to say by well dressed person? First of all, you need to wear ironed clothes. Start practicing. Even if you're going to your friend's place, make it a point. Don't just take a t-shirt from the wardrobe and a shorts and go to your friend's place. Iron it and go. What happens when your friend also sees you? Wow, she's dressing. Her dressing has changed. She's very prim and proper. What has happened with you? So these are the subtle changes that you need to bring about in you to be a better groomed person. So always wear ironed clothes. Never ever wear a crushed clothes wherever you're going. Okay. Second thing is we need to wear clothes appropriate to the occasion. We have heard this term a lot of times. We need to dress appropriate. What do we mean to say by that? The things that we need to keep in mind. That is, we need to select the color of the attire. For example, if we are going for a morning event, we should select pastel colors. We should select, peaches, light pink, light yellow, oranges, these kind of colors. And for night events, we can go for something darker shades like black, maroon, purple, in fact, silver, gold. These are the colors we need to select according to the occasion. Second thing is color combination. We sometimes what happens, we just go to the store and we feel that this I'm looking nice with this pair of skirt, with this pair of top, and then after that the entire look doesn't complete. Somewhere something is missing. Why does this happen? Because we are not selecting the right color combination. There's a lot of material in the internet, and if I take the wardrobe management class later, I'll just explain to you that there is a color wheel. Colors are divided into three broad parts: the primary color, the secondary color, and the tertiary colors. So in that wheel, we can understand what are the color combinations we can use in our wardrobe. Okay, so once you're clear about your color combinations, you can't go wrong with what you're wearing. That we need to figure it out by knowing in more details about the color combination. And the fourth thing which is important under the appropriate occasion is the type of dress. Now, the type of dress depends on two things. First is your body type. We all are born with a particular body type, right? Some people are born with hourglass, some people are born as a rectangular, or some people are born with a square body type, sorry. So we need to first figure that out. Why? Because I think it's happened to us, it's happened to me at Pelkis that, I've got to the best stores, best brands, and picked up something which I feel I'm going to look amazing in it. But when I came back, there's something wrong with the fitting, or something it was not going well with it, because it was not meant for my body type. So every body type is different. Whether you need to wear a V-neck, whether you need to wear an A-line dress or a wrap dress, that depends exactly on your body type. Okay. Now, the third thing for being a well-dressed person is you need to wear well-fitted clothes. So for pageant, or those my contestants who travel nationally, internationally, I make it a point and tell them specifically that you need to go for your fittings before you select a particular dress. I know in today's world, especially in the last 2 years, it's been difficult for us. But given a choice, when the time is going to be normal and everything is fine, it's a better idea that you try your clothes and then buy it. Okay. Now, the fourth thing is very important. Being a well-dressed person, you need to carry it well. As I was mentioning the other batch, I see people wearing off-shoulder spaghettis and then, always pulling up their dress, or they are trying to fix their straps. So try to carry what is comfortable, right? Don't try to wear something which you're not comfortable. And, and what happens when you're going for a party, or you're communicating with someone, if you're fidgeting constantly with your dress, the entire concentration goes off from you. Right? So entire focus of a well-groomed person, or you being the center of attention, is you need to stand out rather than your dress and everything. We need to put all the puzzles together to make yourself a well-groomed person. Okay? Now, as I mentioned, there is another important aspect of having a good appearance, that is good hygiene. We all need from our kindergarten, our teachers have taught us that you should have maintained your proper hygiene. Now, what do we mean? What do we understand by that? By good hygiene, we mean we need to have clean, manicured nails. Okay, it's not that you have to have your gel extension or nail extension done. No, we are not expecting everyone. If you can do it, it's well and fine. But what you can do is you can have a clean nails. We don't want to see any dirty nails. Why am I saying? In the communication, you will see when you're speaking to someone, we have a lot of hand movements on, right? So the focus is on the fingers. The focus is on the nails. So if your nails are chipped off, nail polish is chipped off, it doesn't give a good impression about you. So just keep if it's not possible for, having putting a gel extension or a nail extension, just have a neutral kind of nail polish, like something of the beige or natural. And if you feel that you're not comfortable carrying a color, just, apply a transparent nail polish, but keep your nails clean and manicured. Okay. Meenakshi, can you please put yourself on mute? Okay. The second thing which is important in good hygiene is your neat hairdo or combing. So when you're going to meet someone, or it's an important day for you, can Meenakshi, Harry, are you there? Harry? He just dropped the chat. Just give me a moment. I think has Meenakshi muted herself? I think she has. Okay. Second thing is you need to have a neat hairdo or combing. So please don't go out and meet somewhere as if you've come from a storm has happened in your house or something. If even if you're traveling and your hair is not looking proper, try to enter a restroom, brush your hair properly, and then meet the person whom you're meeting. Okay. Third thing is perfumes. We need to smell well. Okay. And there are two kind of perfumes which I suggest when you are going for an morning or afternoon event. Try to wear something which is floral, which is floral kind of perfume, and or aqua kind of perfume, and something for night might be a bit goody or spicy. So Victoria's Secrets, Pure Seduction is something which you can use in the morning, and in the evening you can use Cartier's or something perfume like that. And why am I suggesting perfume and not Dior? Because Dior smell wears out between 2 to 3 hours, whereas the perfume smell stays on for a longer period. And don't select perfumes or apply perfume so much that when you enter the room and people are giving you glances. No, we don't want any axe effect. We want a very subtle effect. The perfume smell should be such that the person who's sitting next to you and opposite to you, he or she can smell. Okay. Now the fourth thing is which we should keep in mind is no bad breath. So I know there are certain dishes in our Indian cuisine that there is, and at times we need to meet people out just after lunch. But make it a point to use a mouth freshener, or you can use chewing gums. But please don't chew the gum and go and meet the person. Just throw it before you meet it. Okay. So these are the subtle things we need to keep in our mind. Now the fifth point, which is important in good hygiene, is well kept. Now what do I mean to say by that? You need to wax yourself. When you're wearing some sleeveless or your off shoulder, make it a point to see that you're clearly waxed. So you're wearing a short skirt or your shorts. Don't bare your legs if it's not waxed properly. Okay. Now, the third most important point in a well-groomed person, you might be very good in your communication, very good to look at, but if you don't have the right attitude and if you're not humble when you're meeting someone, then the entire effort goes to vain. So you need to be a well-behaved person. You need to have the gratitude when you're interacting with someone. Okay. Any questions for well spoken, well groomed, and how to have the good appearance? Are we all good? Okay. Just listing down the points that we have mentioned and putting them down so that we've mentioned about being a well-groomed person. And why do we need to be a well-groomed person? Because we want to create long-lasting impression in the mind of others. I'm sure you have had sessions about image, what is image management all about, why image is so important, right? So how do we create long-lasting impression? What should we keep in mind to create long-lasting impression in the mind of others or in the mind of people who are important in our life? First thing is timeliness. They say timeliness is next to godliness, right? So from my experience, when I meet important people in my life or whoever it is, I make it a point to reach the meeting place 10 minutes before. And trust me, this has helped me in my personal life to create a good impression. I know there might be some uncertainties in the roads we are traveling and everything, but you should take this buffer. Let's not show all our hurrying up in the road that we are traveling. Let's hurry up before we leave our house so that we are there where we need to meet a person before and create the right kind of impression. Right. Second thing is energy level. No one wants to meet a gloomy person. Everyone wants to meet a person who has positive spirit, who has the positive energy, who speaks well, has the right body posture. right? So, try to, get these things within yourself. Try to smile when you're conversing. Try to have an eye contact when you're conversing with someone who's important. Okay. Third thing, as I have already mentioned, your appearance plays a very huge role. So dress well, smell well. Fourth point, which is important, it is politeness in tone, in your speech, in your actions, and smile. See, don't give us fake smile. Give a genuine smile so that the other person will believe in what you're communicating, will have a trust in you. Fifth thing, which is important, is sounding confident and being assertive. Now, there are sometimes we need to say a no to other people when we're communicating, and we are sometimes in two minds. Shall I say this? Maybe that person might take it in a different way, right? So we need to know the thin line between being assertive and being arrogant. Now, how I'm just saying I'll be stating two lines and showing with emotions about how do you be assertive and how do you be arrogant. Suppose if I have to say, I'm really sorry, I was expecting this to be done by end of this month. This is being assertive. And same thing, I said, I'm really sorry, I was expecting this to be completed by the end of this month. You see the emotions. The first time I'm mentioning it, but it's with assertiveness. My message is clear to the other person. Whereas the second time I'm arrogant and showing this, wow, I'm really irritated. But this will not help my work, because the other person will be agitated so much, he or she will not listen to me and my work will not be done. Right. Whereas if I put my point across in an assertive way, it will help my work to be done. Okay. Another point which is very important in creating long-lasting impression is sense of humor. It's a game changer. So some of us are really born with it, but those of us who are not, we can just pick up one-liners which might create which can give a smile to another person's face when we are communicating. So we just can remember something which is funny. There are a lot of comedy shows which are on. We can just pick up a joke and pack it in front of the right audience, right? So that is the way we can create the right kind of impression. We can create the kind of attitude or the acceptance among the people that we want to impress. Another point we need to keep in mind is when you are interacting with someone, be precise and to the point in your communication, especially in case of business interaction, because people don't have the entire day to hear your stories. Okay, so whatever you have to communicate, be to the point, and the message should be clear, it should be concise and crisp. Last but not the least point is you need to be yourself in a good communication, to create the long-lasting impression. You can't fake another person. We all know about our strengths and weaknesses, right? Maybe for one meeting, we might just fake it, this about it, but the other person sitting opposite to me will figure it out after some more days. So be yourself, and at the same time, try working on these points. That will create the right kind of impression. Okay. Any questions? We all good? Okay. Now I'll be sharing certain points about how to introduce yourself in a contest. First thing is, which I suggest, it's a personal choice. There are so many faces. How will the judges remember me? Right. So what you can do, you can start your speech with a quote, which relates to you, which relates to your life. Okay. Second thing is you need to mention from which place you are. When it's a national contest, mention the city you're from. When it's an international contest, mention about your country. And when you mention about your city or your country, mention something unique. For example, I would say, hi, everybody. Good evening. I am Adelina Ganguly. I am from the city of joy or the city of simple sweets, Kolkata. Just instead of just putting like a class 12, sorry about it, like putting across like a class 12 old child, hi, everybody, I am this, I'm from this city. Add these adjectives. This will draw judges' attention. Okay. Third thing is mention the purpose Or why do you want to participate in this contest? Because the judges need to feel that you are giving importance to this platform, right? Fourth thing is end it with a flair. What do you mean? What do I mean to say by that? Something related to what you have mentioned so far in the conversation, again mention it at the end so the judges will remember. It should be repetitive, but the last few points should be such that the judges should remember, okay, fine. If I'm thinking of Saloni is an athlete. She loves traveling. She does solo traveling and she has achieved this in her life. Okay. Fourth thing which you can add, if you can add a touch of humor in your speech, that works wonders. I'm not saying that's a must, but it's like a good to have thing. Fifth is, and the most important point, when you're saying your speech or when you're having a communication with others, keep a genuine smile and the spark in your eyes. It's a must. No one wants to see gloomy faces as if you have learned by heart your speech and you just say, and a mic has been given in front of you and you're speaking. No. Feel what you're speaking. Speak it through your eyes. Speak it through your smile. That is important. Now, how do I prepare? These are the points you should keep in mind. The certain important things which you can do is, you can write down 5 important accomplishments that you have achieved in your life. It can be with regard to anything, like with regard to your health, your school, your personal development. If you've done something for the society, you've done something for your parents, which you think it's something extraordinary and you should speak about it, something with regard to your talent, mention these 5 points and start, jotting the most important 2 points. Okay. And then start deleting the extra ands and thus. Fine. And finally, when your entire speech is ready, you can start with the quote, then you mention about your city, then you mention why you want to be into this contest. Fourth is something which is very unique about yourself. Fifth is you ended with a flair with certain words so that the judges will remember you. Okay, clear? All good so far? Okay. Now we're in a virtual world, but when things will be fine and everything will be okay again, hopefully that's going to be very soon. Self-introduction is a very important aspect when you are in a pageant or you are communicating with important people around. So how do you introduce yourself? There are certain things that we need to keep in mind. First is, you should stand up and greet. Even if person is coming inside your house or you are in a cafe and he or she is supposed to come, don't just sit and do a hi. It shows disrespect. You get and say hi, stand to greet, right? And you need to step forward or lean forward slightly. Not a bow, like you just stand up and you do a bow. No, you can say hi and just lean a bit forward. What happens, it's like you are showing an eagerness or a positive vibe to respond to the person who is entering that particular room, or you want to converse with that person. Okay. Third thing you should keep in your mind when you're introducing yourself is eye contact. They say when you're having a communication, if your eyes are going here and there, you are not confident about yourself. So eye contact speaks about your confidence. So try to have an eye contact where you're communicating with someone. Fourth, which goes without saying, I could keep on mentioning this to my contestants and they have got the yielded result. That's you need to have a warm, pleasant smile when you're conversing. Fifth is shaking hands. There are certain techniques that you need to have to shake hands properly because in fact, your character is judged by how you shake your hands with others. A firm handshake speaks about a confident person, and a limp handshake speaks that you are not a confident person. So when you meet another person, just take your right hand out, grip it well, and shake it 1, 2, 3, and then leave it. Just don't go on shaking the hands and everything. I know sometimes people just take your hand and they go on and the conversation is no. Just take your hand, have a firm grip, shake it 1, 2, 3, and then give a smile and take back your hands. That is what the perfect handshake is all about. Okay. one more thing we need to keep in mind is greet the person mentioning his or her name. You know, if you remember the name of the person, you're giving importance to the other person. It's a good thing that we need to inculcate within ourselves. Right. Now, sometimes it happens that we don't remember the name and we say, you are Mansi, you are Manvya, you are something like that. Don't do that. It's sometimes it's like, okay, you know, the other person gives you that reaction. You can just say that something like that. Hello, nice to meet you. I am Adelina. I'm from Kolkata. Where are you from? Just be, it's fine. You can forget the name. There is no issues about it, but just don't try to give that extra effort and, you know, try to remember the name, which will put you in a messy situation. Just say that you've forgotten the name and this is who you are, where are you from, and nice to meet you, so that the other person also responds and introduces him or herself. Okay. And when you're introducing yourself, be clear and audible so that the other person remembers exactly what you are speaking. Okay. And lastly, which is very important, like add a personal identification in the end of your conversation with when you're having a conversation with an important person and you want to create the right kind of impression. For example, if I had to end my conversation, I would say, hi, everybody. I am Adelina. I'm from Kolkata. I'm an image consultant and I have represented my country internationally. I would like to end my conversation in that way so people will remember my name, Adelina, my city, Kolkata. My profession, image consultant. I've won around 8 crowds and I've represented my country, national, international. Okay. Okay, so any questions so far? We will be going to the poses and I'll be discussing certain positions for the ramp walk. Are we all good? Okay. So we'll discuss about pageant posing. Now, there is a difference between posing for a photo shoot and posing for a pageant. And what I'll explain a bit about the difference and what are the different poses that we do for a pageant. Now, what is a pageant pose all about? What are the things that we need to keep in mind when we are posing for a pageant? The first thing is we need to have the right energy. Okay, we are not, you know, it's not like someone's going to force you and walk the ramp. You should have that positive energy within you. Second thing is the confidence. You know, you have the, when I tell my contestants or my students, when you're walking the ramp, walk as if you've worn the crown, you're wearing it in your head. That is where you can, you know, you can give your best shot. Third is the right poise. I'll be breaking it down what poise is all about in my next slide. And fourth is the right emotion. Okay. Can you see the left side picture? This is a Sabyasachi classic pose. Have you seen the way the girl is standing? Look at the angles of her hand. Look the way she has kept her fingers. Each and every, most of the fingers are visible, but it's so well kept. Her shoulders are relaxed. Her tummy is tucked in properly. And she has such a piercing eye look. You know, you should pose in such a way that each pose should speak about you. It should tell a story about what you're posing, right? Now, what is poise all about? As I mentioned, I'm going to break it down. Poise is, I'll be showing you one of the positions later, one of the poses later. You need to stand straight, your tummy sucked in, pull your shoulders back. We don't want your chest to be out. Just pull it a bit back, relax, and radiate confidence. That is what poise is all about. Okay? Now for ramp or for poses, creating curves is something we need to keep in mind. Why? If we stand straight, you know, the best features of our body won't be out. We need to create curves. You see this girl, how she has posed herself. Her legs are apart. She's put your hands inside the pocket. She's not done something very difficult. See how she's looking well. You need to create angles with your body. The right kind of angle. It's not like your hands should go somewhere and your legs are going somewhere. No, it should be a balanced approach. This is one pose of standout position. Okay, what happens? You can stand up properly. At the same time, it helps you to release the tension in the muscles. Okay, these are some standout poses. Can you see? The absolutely at the top left is a bow legs where both your feet are pointing towards each other and you can pose something with your hands. Then we have the Beyonce triangle. This is another pose which is practiced. Then we have the torso thrust, which is usually a final position for the different pageants when they have to give a kiss to the audience. This is the kind of pose they give. And when you're posing, you shouldn't be standing straight, or your weight should either be on your left hip or on your right hip. Okay, this is the perfect way of balancing out a standout position. There are two important positions when you're walking the ramp. One is the standout, another is the S position. I think this has been discussed in your previous ramp walk sessions too, but keep this in mind. Now, the safest standout position is the 45-degree position. I'll show this to you. It's like one leg in front of the other and one arm in front of the other. And it's a 1/3 angle you stand, front leg pointing forward, back leg 90 degrees. Okay, I'll be showing this pose to you. These are some examples of more standard position, the profile position. Can you see the third, the top left, how she has posed? It's so perfect. Her right toe is a bit on, she's standing on her heels. She's given the perfect look to the camera and her posture is perfect. Then we have the flamingo position that is for more of a photo shoot kind of a posture, which I would suggest. Then we have the toe point. Toe point is also a very famous pose that we practice in ramp. Now, when you're going for your pageant photo shoots, you will be having different rounds with your gowns or your Indian wear. So the photographers suggest sometimes to sit and give me some sitting positions. Now, do you see how they have created angles while they are sitting in the posture? So you need to work around with your hands. As I mentioned, suppose if you have to pose with my hair, I'll do something like this. I will never put my hand like this. Why? Because when I'm pressing my face with my hand like this, this chubbiness is being posed here. So this place is looking back. So how will I pose my hand? I'm going to show all my fingers like this and put it in this way or something like this or this. So that my fingers are shown, my pose is fine, my face is clear. And when you're posing in a sitting way, your legs and arms should complement. You see in each of the pictures, is there something which is not looking complementing? Is it like your legs are looking more and your body is looking shorter than your hands? No. Each and every composition are perfect. The hands and the legs have been posed in such a way that they're complementing each other. Okay. Now in pageant, group photo is something which is very important, and we need to you get marks when you attend pageants in your group picture. How do you pose yourself? So what are the things that we need to keep in mind when we are clicking in our pageant group photo? First thing is, when you start practicing in front of the mirror, which pose will look perfect to you, you need to practice that pose and pose that in the photo when you're in the pageant group photo. And don't overdo yourself. Don't try to push another contestant and try to be in the group photo. That will come out. But at the same time, don't stand behind where your entire face is not visible, because the judges will, when the entire picture comes out, they will try to figure out who is Shikha, who is Apurva, who's an everyone, how is she posing, or where is another contestant. So you need to keep this in mind. Pose the perfect position after practicing at your home. And secondly, make yourself visible in the picture by not pushing each other, by finding out the right place in the picture. Okay? Facial expression. As I was judging one of the rounds and I saw the contestants, they were wonderful. But I think they were a bit tensed while they were walking. They were looking a bit here and there. Your face speaks volumes, right? So you need to have that right confidence and the smile. Because when you have to win the heart of the judges, you need to have that attitude and a pleasant smile on the face, right? So how will you work on it? Stand in front of the mirror. take selfies. We all know which is our right profile, which profile looks better in us, whether it's the left profile or it's the right profile. Okay, and then start with the neutral expression, blank expression, then start smiling, then start giving attitude. Then you will master the right kind of expression that you need to pose. Okay, these are the subtle things. Start writing down, start working on it. When you have family members, ask them to take pictures, ask them to take videos. Okay, then only, you can come out with the perfect walk, with the perfect pose. Okay. Now, hands, as I mentioned, hands play a important role, and I've also shared a link in this particular presentation that will be shared with all of you. Try working on your hands when you're posing for a photo shoot. Keep your hands relaxed and never ever show your palm. See, if I put my palm like this, you see, this in photography we call a negative area, which takes up a lot of space because we don't want to see how many where have you seen that models are posing like this or their arms are visible. No, this is a negative area we call in our picture. So try to not show your palm when you are posing in front of the camera. Okay. Now, certain useful tips which I feel will help you. Start smiling more in front of your mirror or your camera, so you will perfect the art of smiling. Second thing, we always hear from professional photographers, put your chin down, put your chin up. We all have a particular shape of face. Some is oval, some is round, some is square. So start practicing, excuse me, whether you need to put your chin down or your chin up. You need to have a perfect combination. The ratio should be perfect. The chin should not go down like this. So what happens? The shadow falls in like this. If my chin is up, do you see the focus is on my neck? I don't want that to happen when someone's taking a picture. I want entire focus. There should be a balanced thing that we need to practice in front of the mirror. Third thing which is important is piercing eyes. When you see the magazines or you see, oh my gosh, she's looking so beautiful, is the eyes which makes the difference. It's the expression. What do I mean to say by piercing eyes? Suppose this is an example of piercing eyes, looking straight into the camera or the person who's clicking you and having that intensity in your eyes. Okay. Fourth point, which is important, is relax parted lips. So what do I mean to say by that? So having a pierced eyes and relaxed parted lips means like this. Just this, your teeth shouldn't be showing, your lips should be parted, and there should be an intense piercing look in your eyes. Okay. Now, we know that when we tilt our head like this or that thing, our pictures comes in better. It's not only about sides, it's about which tilt looks better. So start practicing that, whether you tilt a bit on the left angle looks better or your right angle look better, that you need to practice yourself. And ask your family members for help too. So what happened to me, and it happens to my students also, when they stand in front of the mirror, and they feel uncomfortable. I think this pose is not looking nice on me. That is not looking nice. And, we start experimenting. I tell my contestants and my students, start experimenting. You never know which pose will look just, beautiful in you, which will be the best pose for you, right? So start practicing that. And never, ever be shy to experiment of a pose. You need to see the basics needs to be clear, right? You can't just experiment that with one leg going up in your hands like that. You need to know there should be a balance. But you can start experimenting with a number of poses. And then you will be able to know which is looking perfect in me. Okay? Now, there are certain things we should not do with respect to a pageant. Laughing too much in a picture. Sometimes people think, if I laugh too much in a picture, no, there should be a balance. And that is why I'm telling you, practice in front of the mirror to know which smile will look perfect in you. Second thing is relaxed eyes. When I said relaxed, pierced eyes, not headlight eyes like this. No, you're not going to scare someone. You're going to give a best shot in front of others, right? And third thing we need to keep in mind, we are all blessed with certain features and we are not blessed with certain features other, right? Whatever features are our positiveness, let's play around with that. Instead of, trying to work a lot on the negative feature, let's enhance on the positive features that we are blessed with. Okay. Fourth thing, which is not a good thing to do, especially regarding to international pageant, it is duck face and this peace sign. No, we can do that with, when we are going out with friends, or we are sometimes in parties and meeting, but not for pageants, because we are getting ourselves groomed to be elegant ladies. We're going to represent our city, we're going to represent our country outside. See, if I represented my country twice in Greece, one when I went to Mrs. India, and second when from India, represent 4 girls represented our country in the TIF Fest. Now, if I go on doing this and there, I'm not going to create the right kind of impression. So we need to keep in mind how we are posing. Okay. Now these are some of the perfect pageant poses, and these are from the winners. So when you see that there's a on the left side how she has posed, her entire hands are perfectly placed. The next pose is the standout, or we call the 45-degree pose. The third thing is again the toe tip position. She just put her hands in her waist. Okay, and the fourth picture is the standout pose. Okay. So these are again certain pictures that you can experiment in your photo shoot. You'll see how wonderfully she's worked around with her hands. The way she has kept her hands in the first position, in the first picture, each and every finger is visible. Look at the second picture, she's holding her hand from her back. But how elegant she's looking, how balanced the picture is, how she's working with the chair out there, then the sofa, how she's using the accessories. This comes with practice, but we need to know how the angle works. When the basic concept is clear, you can work around. It's no rocket science. But these are some of the poses which I practice. So the extreme right one is from my grooming days, or from my pageant days. It was taken in Greece in my gown round. Okay. So any questions so far? We are good? Okay. Now, I'll be just sharing some details about courses which I conduct as an image consultant. So the course is Beauty Queen in Beads for all the beautiful ladies who want to attend pageants. It's a 16-hour course which I conduct. Then those who are in the corporate world and want to develop a personality, there's a personality and image development course, which is for 12 hours. Then there are ladies who just want to groom themselves and have the perfect wardrobe and be the person when they're going for parties or meeting the right kind of people. It's a person grooming and wardrobe management. Then there are classes on etiquette starting from social, dining, airport, everything. That's around 10 hours. And I also conduct makeup and healthy lifestyle courses and a one-day crash course to enhance your entire image. How do you present yourself? How do you make a mark in the life of others? Yes, so thank you so much. And if you have any questions, you can choose.
Thank you, Adelina. Thank you. And, I just request you to quit the screen sharing so that we could see if somebody has a question. And if even you could read the chat box once.
Yeah. And I'll be showing their position to them.
So ladies, in case you have any question, you could put it in the chat box or go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, repeat perfume. It is from, okay, ma'am, share PPT as I'm traveling and network is getting disturbed. Okay, fine. I think, Harry, you can share the PPT to them after we are done with the session.
Absolutely.
Repeat perfume. Okay, perfume, what I mentioned. When in afternoon events we need to wear a kind of smell, and in the evening events we need to wear a different kind of smell. How do we differentiate? In the afternoon events we can wear some kind of smell which is flowery, which is aqua, and for night we can wear something which is more spicy, which is woody. Okay. Then there's another question from Surbi. Ma'am, can you repeat the well-spoken part? What exactly do you want to know about the well-spoken parts? Because there are a number of things which I mentioned, your communication skills need to be audible, you need to pace out your communication, your speech frequency should be right. These are the things you need to keep in mind when you're communicating. Simran asks, sometimes we don't know the answer of the question that has been asked. What shall we do in that moment? Okay, Simran, usually there is hardly any case, or usually the judges will not ask you a question which you won't have an answer. So even if maybe you might need some time to think about it, what I suggest my contestants, you can buy some time from the judges. If you're not understanding a question, you can say, thank you so much, judges, for your question, but could you please repeat the question once so that you buy some time to understand the question again, right? And I don't think the judges usually will ask a question to you where you won't be able to answer. It's usually general questions about, what you think about a current event, or why do you want to be the winner? Some questions like that, which is important, but not something which the contestant will not do. No one wants to put you in the wrong position and in an uncomfortable position in the pageant. Okay, we have a question from Devanshi. Can we get the record video of the session? Yeah, I think Harry will be sharing it. Survi says, ma'am, maine late join. No worries, Survi, you'll be getting this presentation and this recorded session. You can just go through it.
Glory has a question. Glory, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the explanation. It was really clear and great. I have a question that the post you have shared, the ballot post, which are the posts for the clicking pictures, that post we can use in the RAM work, like with natural RAM work. After RAM work, we can post as like we are posting as a picture. Is it okay that way?
Okay, I'll be showing you the walk. Okay. I'll be showing you the standout position to you, and the we call it the S position, so that you people are clear about how you can pose in front of your judges for the wrap round. Okay, I'll just quickly go through that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, just Harry, help me out. I'll be just changing the position so that I can just show them the positions.
Yeah, sure.
Just let me know if the camera is fine.
The frame needs to be a lot lower. The upper half is.
Yeah. Just a moment. Is this fine?
Yeah, this should work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you all have been given a music, I guess. So when the music is on, you keep position out here. Okay, stand. And you start walking. You can either have a stand-up position. I'm going to get back. Stand-up position means your weight is either on your left hip or on your right hip. Then you can do a 1. You can change your position. Then take back your leg. Look at the judges. Do a turn and go back. Okay? So there are two. As she was asking, what are the positions? One is a stand-up position like this. You can do a left or a right stand-up wherever you're comfortable, or the 45-degree angle. What is a 45-degree angle? Are my legs visible? No. Let me show them the 45-degree.
Lower, yeah.
45, no, still it's not visible. $45-degree angle is.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Your front leg should absolutely be in front. Your left leg should be 90 degrees back. You should be holding your right hand like this and left hand like this. There should be an angle. One hand is before and one hand is behind, and there should be a 3/4. Can you see? I'm not looking actually straight in front of the judges, and there's a 3/4 angle around you. You can also stand like that, and you can also change like that. Okay, so two positions you can do. We call this S also. Either it's a stand-off position, or it's a 45-degree angle, or we can call it S. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah, I think they're saying all good.
Okay, great. Okay.
All right, ladies, I think we are done with the questions. If still anybody has anything, please put it into the chat box. I guess Adolina would be catering to it. Or you could just unmute yourself. Apurva has a question, yeah.
Yes, Apurva, tell me.
Hello, ma'am. That was a lovely session. Thank you for all those tips.
Thank you, Apurva.
Well, my question is, when I smile, okay, due to my small eyes, my eyes tend to look very small, you know, close to closing my eyes. So in that situation, what should I do?
So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes over smiling, you know, it's not that great. So you need to practice in front of them in a balanced smile. So suppose if you're smiling like this more, your eyes are becoming smaller. So you need to keep a very subtle smile like this. But just your cheeks are going to smile a bit. You just can't do this a bit more, because this entire thing is taking up, the space is taking up your eyes. Your eyes are looking smaller. So try to practice a smile where only this portion is smiling in your face. Not, you don't smile like this. Just smile up subtle like this. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Adolina. Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure having you here today. Thank you for all the insightful tips and tricks. I'm sure the ladies had a lot of fun and a lot of, learning to go with her. So thank you so much, and we shall take your leave.
Okay, take care and best of luck to all of you. Give your best. Bye. Good evening, everyone. Bye.